Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our major stories tonight. Ogun State Police Command launches manhunt for abductors of students and staff of Tulip International College as parents demand better security in the school. Bring Back Our Girls campaigners call for urgent action to effect release of other Chibok girls, want adequate management of Nigeria's human resources. Nigerian Society of Engineers condemn proposed total closure of Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, ask for phased rehabilitation of the facility. And options narrow as ECOWAS leaders failed to persuade Gambian President Yahya Jammeh to hand over power to President-elect Adama Barrow. For more on our top stories and others, please visit our website channelstv.com and on youtube.com/channelsweb. You can also watch us on the go on your mobile device by logging on to m.channelstv.com or simply downloading the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from their respective stores. Having the Channels TV and Channels 24 app will give you access to news and updates. You also have the Eyewitness feature, so you too can be a part of the news. Just install the app and tap and swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu and follow the instructions to share those pictures, videos or news of happenings around you. Now to some of the pictures you sent into our Eyewitness portal. First is this one from Kwara State showing children fetching firewood. Our Eyewitness reporter wants the authorities to look into this as they ought to be in school at this time. And still in Kwara State, but this time it's about a gridlock on the Mokwa-Jeba Road. Our Eyewitness reporter says road users go through this hardship daily. Then we come back to Lagos. Our Eyewitness reporter sends this image from Victoria Garden City in Lekki and is appealing to the authorities to look into this standstill which occurs every day. And those are our Eyewitness pictures for today, and we do encourage you to keep them coming. And to other stories now. The planned closure of the Nnamdi Azikiwe Airport in Abuja has continued to generate different reactions. And this time one is coming from the Nigerian Society of Engineers. They've called for the suspension of the plan. The president of the society told journalists that the closure of the airport is not necessary as maintenance can go on alongside normal operations.
Absence of a second runway at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, meant lack of excess runway capacity to temporarily close the main runway for repair. In addition, shutting down the only runway will create enormous ripple effects for all the passengers and cargo traffic flowing in and out of Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, which is an airport hub. In far worse scenarios, committed efforts have kept airports operational while maintenance and repairs are ongoing. Operational models at Uli and Frankfurt Airport must be adopted to keep the airport open, which implies working in sections. Construction of the second runway at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport must commence immediately.
Cases of youth restiveness, insecurity and underdevelopment will persist if the issue of inequality in Nigeria is not addressed. And this is the view of a civil society organization, Action Aid Nigeria, which is calling for urgent action on the social protection program of the government to bridge the inequality gap.
Figures from the Bureau of Statistics have it that 46% of Nigerians live below the poverty line, with 28% in urban areas and over 70% in rural areas. But the federal government has introduced a safety net where 5 billion naira has been earmarked as part of its social protection program. Out of this amount, only about 1 billion naira is said to have been disbursed as at December 2016. Those gathered here are considering ways to close the gap between the rich and the poor. Many of the speakers say the huge inequality in the country has impacted negatively on the nation's development.
We will therefore be calling on the Nigerian government to, among other things, immediately sign the social protection policy on which work has been ongoing, to ensure adequate budgetary provisions and necessary cash releases for its social investment strategy, to set up frameworks and processes that will ensure success and achievements of the SDGs, particularly SDGs 5 and 10.
Others bear their minds on the social protection program and what must be done to salvage a large number of Nigerians still living in poverty.
If we are going to successfully address inequality, it is important and necessary for us to take concrete actions, but actions that are also of a political nature. You must be concerned about how resources that are supposed to help shape your life, that are supposed to help improve financial resource flow, for example, to agriculture. Education, which is a tool in addressing poverty and inequality, had become a thing of the rich, fully privatized. Our elites came through a system that those facilities are really free. But now, most of us cannot send our children and folks to schools because we cannot afford.
While the margin between the rich and the poor in Nigeria has continued to grow, experts here say that government at all levels must back up their policies with concrete and decisive action to bridge the gap.
That not everything is lost. Please.
As part of efforts to end hostilities in the Niger Delta region, the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, will be visiting a number of oil communities from January the 16th, beginning with Delta State. According to a statement from his office, the Vice President will be visiting Bayelsa and River State at a date to be announced later. The spokesperson for the Office of the Vice President, Mr. Laolu Akonde, describes the move as a further demonstration of the President's determination to address the Niger Delta challenge. In 2003, Nigeria adopted the Child's Rights Act to domesticate the Convention on the Rights of a Child. The Edo State government enacted the law in 2007, and 10 years after, it has been launched at the family court as prescribed by the Child's Rights Law to make it more effective in the state. And this next report takes a look at the implementation of this law by the state government.
Children hawking in the market and helping their parents beg to make ends meet are common sights in Benin City, the Edo State capital. In 2007, the Child Rights Act was domesticated by the Edo State House of Assembly. And in January 2017, the state government took its first step toward instituting a family court as prescribed by the law. For the court to take off, there are other requirements.
For the court to be properly constituted, you will need 2 assessors. The 2 assessors will be appointed by the Honorable Chief Judge of the state. They will assist the presiding judge who will preside over the family court in deciding cases that relates to the welfare of children.
A courtroom has been provided at the State High Court in Benin City and another at the Magistrates Court, but there is need to make it child-friendly.
It is not going to be like the regular court where a child comes in and feels not wanting to talk. The child may be scared. But when the environment is friendly, the court environment is friendly, the child will be relaxed, the child will be able to express him or herself.
Cases that can be handled here include child defilement and abuse, custody issues, and even refusal of parents or guardians to send a child to school. For the executive arm of government, the approach to tackling this menace is through economic empowerment.
We want to turn Edo State to the center point of trade a state where the economy is viable to the extent that with or without Abuja's resources, we can be self-sustained. And in doing that, unemployment will be history in Edo State. So when you tackle the issue of joblessness, you have to actually prepare a home to have eliminated the issue of street trading, the issue of child right abuse, though they will still be there, but this time on a different scale.
If the fight against poverty and crime will be won, one of the measures is to stop these ills from passing to the next generation through diligent enforcement of the child rights law.
Ahead of the Senate public hearing on the act establishing the National Open University of Nigeria, the management of the institution has given Nigerians the assurance that law graduates of the university will soon be allowed to proceed to law school. The Vice-Chancellor, Professor Abdallah Adamu, told journalists in Abuja that the university is also addressing the non-participation of its graduate in the National Youth Service Program. And it seems political alliances are beginning to take shape ahead of the 2019 general elections as former ministers led by Sule Lamido visited the governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, in Port Harcourt, the state capital. Mr. Lamido, who spoke on behalf of his team, commended the governor for standing firm and defending the principles of the People's Democratic Party, while the governor reaffirmed his commitment to remain resolute.
First, tell you this now, you are our own. You are a PDP creation, therefore PDP has claim over you. And to ask you, with your colleagues, that you must come together as a club of governors. So you can be a rallying point. Give us the inspiration, give Nigeria the hope.
For us, that are concerned in this state, we have made up our mind that we only have one family, and that family is the People's Democratic Party. And it doesn't matter what happens, nobody will intimidate us. We'll never allow ourselves to be cowed. We will continue to stand firm and defend democracy. Yes, you will pay the price, there are sacrifices, but it worth it. So for us, and for me in particular, you can be assured that we can look back.
The division amongst pensioners in Osun State appears to be taking another dimension as another faction removes itself from the group that set up the internally displaced pensioners camp a few days ago. While the Forum of Retirees allege that they are being owed, the other group insists government has met its statutory responsibilities to the pensioners.
These set of pensioners, who call themselves the Forum of Retirees of 2011-2012 set, had a few days ago set up an internally displaced pensioners camp to drive home their demand on the plight of the pensioners who claim the government is owing them gratuities and 9 months pension.
The governor is owing us 22 billion naira as gratuity from 2008 to 2012. The government is owing us from July 2015 to December 2016, totaling 4.7 billion naira as our pension arrears, 18 halves, 9 months. So that is why we are doing what we are doing.
Not aligning with this school of thought, the other group, known as the Triangular Pensioners, are gathered here. The program is meant to be a special prayer session to usher in the new year, and here the chairman of the Triangular Pensioners punctured the claim of the Forum of Retirees of 2011-2012 pensioners.
I and my group, we believe in dialogue, roundtable discussion, and not in a confrontation. And that is why I discuss with governor every now and then. And that is the reason that even if not because of the triangular group of pensioners, governor couldn't have been paying the pensioner in Osun State. Go to many states in Osun State. How many states that is paying pensioners now? What is paying us is on agreement of MOU, and that is what is happening with the workers. Why the pensioner now?
The Osun State Governor, who was a guest at this prayer session, says his administration has been fair to the pensioners and the workers in the state. As the pensioners continue to trade blames, the government is maintaining that there can only be improvement in the payment of salaries and entitlements when the economy of the state improves.
When the news returns, the Naira is expected to stabilize as the Central Bank of Nigeria resumes dollar sales to BZC operators. And that's on Business News. Join us again.